live. You're live! Hello everyone, I'm Santiago and today I'm gonna be testing Assassin's Creed Shadows on the GTX 1650, 3060 and 4060. How are you guys doing? Welcome. So I just finished downloading the game. Thanks to Ubisoft for providing a code of the game. The game releases in around 2 days. So in 2 days everyone will have access. And I wanted to show you something before we start. So the game was a 95 gigabyte download and once installed is 109 gigabytes. So I think it's important to show you guys the actual size of the game, but as a download it's 95 and it's here. I don't know why it's running. I closed the game, but hey, whatever. Yeah, we're going to try a lot of settings. How's it going, guys? Welcome. So again, releases in 2 days. Let me force quit the game just to be sure that everything is in order. Oh, it closed itself. Awesome. So as usual, we're going to check the requirements first. So there is selective ray tracing, standard ray tracing, and extended ray tracing. Let's focus on the selective ray tracing, which is what we're going to start with right now. So for low settings, 1080p 30, low settings, 6-core 12-thread CPU, 1078 gigabytes, 5708 gigabytes, or ARC 580. Yeah, so 8 gigabytes seems to be the minimum. I asked about VRAM to Ubisoft. They told me at least 6 gigabytes was the bare minimum. So we have 4 gigabytes of VRAM video card here. We're outside the minimum requirements by the GPU itself, at least again according to this. For 60 is a 1080p medium, 3060 Ti, we have a 3060. For high at 1440p 60, 3080, 4070 Ti for 4K 60. And then when it comes to actual ray tracing, well, it goes way higher. For RTX stream, which includes global illumination, we need a 4090. Ha, funny. And well, we need at least 16 gigs on dual channel. How's it going? H1DZZ. 16 gigs on dual channel, DX12, a mandatory SSD, but it has good features. At least here it says global illumination and reflections with ray tracing, in-game benchmark tool, which I always use for my channel, XeSS2, DLSS 3.7, FSR 3.1, uncapped frame rates, customization options, dynamic resolution, HDR, and Infinity and NVIDIA Surround compatible, which I haven't seen NVIDIA Surround and Infinity in a while, which is hilarious. I mean, that's an old feature. But this is the part that bothers me. They say 1080p 30 using dynamic resolution and upscaling. So this could be easily performance upscaling, and this will be 540p. So this, with this statement right here, all this that you see here kind of drops to the ground, at least to me. So they're saying these are the requirements, but with upscaling and dynamic resolution. Who knows the exact pixel counts? So please keep that in mind. We'll see. Let's hit play. I haven't entered the game yet. This is my first time launching it, and I forgot the FPS counter. Good for me. I don't think it's going to be that bad either. I think they're playing it safe with the requirements, honestly. Because this is still the Assassin's Creed Valhalla engine. Yeah, Anvil. So it's not the same engine as Star Wars Outlaws. So I'm expecting decent performance, personally. As long as ray tracing is disabled. Ooh, the memories. I miss Altair so much. And Ezio. Here we go. It's launched on 1650? Yeah, it launched on the 1650 at least. Here it goes. Yeah, I hate the Ubisoft launcher as well, but again, thanks to them for providing a code. I know, I mean, it's not a Steam key that I got, but nobody owes you a code, and I'm happy that I'm able to show you guys all this in advance. Motion reduction, yes. Checking for memory add-ons. Okay. So it's saying it's the Animus. Cool. Hopefully the menu itself, the UI looks cool. That's something I miss from older games. It's day 1 on Steam. Yeah, on Steam, guys. This game will be on Steam and Ubisoft Connect at the very beginning.
A beautiful place, isn't it?
And I cannot skip this. I'm sorry, guys.
The warm sun.
Yeah, we're doing the Steam
This
Deck right
place
after
belongs
this.
just to you. It doesn't exist out in the world. Everything you see here
So
is from
apologies
the
for the
past.
spoilers,
Your
but I
past.
cannot skip this.
One of your
Yeah, the game is
ancestors
verified
visited
and it will
this
be
place,
day 1 on
forever
Steam.
writing their memory into the fabric of
Oh,
your
yeah.
DNA. Animus Ego unlocks these genetic
Animus
memories
Ego!
to sense.
Will you be trying the game without upscaling? Of course. That's a yes.
And connect. Like
Are you late or just getting started? Just getting started. We'll see what happens.
lives honed into who you are today. Your journey to mindfulness begins through these ancestral
You always dislike the future stuff in these games. Well, I mean, sorry about the mic.
New memory streams are activating now.
It doesn't bother me as long as it's interesting. Starting from Assassin's Creed 3 onwards, I think the future stuff was pared back quite significantly. Yeah. Starting from Assassin's Creed 3. On Assassin's Creed 3 actually was okay. But then it started dropping when it came to the normal day stuff. Okay, I think it's starting. Yep. At 13 FPS obviously, because my monitor is 1440p. Okay, they're saying Valhalla, Mirage, Odyssey, Origins. Okay, they tell you which one we're playing. Awesome. So apologies about the low frame rate. The game will take your monitor as a base. There we go. Exchange system. There we go. So don't play at 1440p on this card. Yeah. Well, no, never mind. It was at 4K. LMAO. Hilarious. Okay, 1080p. Frame limiter, frame rate target. Okay, dynamic resolution. Let's turn that off. Upscaler type, automatic. I don't know what it means. So TAA, FSR, XeSS, or automatic. Okay, let's use FSR quality from the start. But I like that the dynamic resolution gives you a threshold. We're going to experiment with this. Although I don't know why quality is 44%. It should be 64. But a frame generation, motion blur, and I cannot turn off chromatic aberration. Oh, post effects on high unlocks this option. Gotcha. Scalability. Low illumination for only the hideout. Yeah, that's all that there is to it. Preset, there is low, medium, high, very high, ultra high, and there it goes. Okay. Since we're below the minimum requirements, I'm putting everything on low, but ray tracing seems to be mandatory, even if it's a very basic ray tracing mode. Screen space effects, okay, this is for the reflections. Yeah, for the screen space reflections, like source quality. Okay. Okay. Shadow quality. Yeah, classic shadow resolution. Texture pool, ultra high, low, medium high, very high. Let's put it on low. Post effects. Okay, this is not important. Okay, the water. Again, we're on the below the minimum requirements here. Loading distance, low. You can go pretty high. Still, I think it looks pretty good even on low, at least when it comes to screenshots. Okay, terrain, this one is important. Deformation of the snow. Scatter density. Okay, that makes a big difference. Virtual textures. Adjust the resolution and detail level of terrain textures. Okay. Low. Okay, character quality also affects how good or bad the shadows are at a distance. Interesting. Hair strands. Okay. We're not using that, but it's nice to have it for only the main character. Clouds. This one is probably the volumetric clouds that we see in the other Assassin's Creed games. And then we got the... Never mind, this is the volumetric fog. My bad. So everything on low with quality FSR. Again, we're below the minimum requirements. And Ubisoft told me that you need at least 6 gigabytes. And the game is telling me, hey, you only have 4 gigabytes and you need 5. So let's see what happens. Also the music. Let's put that in streamer mode, if it exists. No, I don't see any. Aim assist, photo mode. There's a lot of accessibility options, which I appreciate. Dismemberment, yes. Blood, yes. And there it goes, the music. Okay. We're going to do a Steam Deck as well, but just after this video is done. We need something to get started. Feudal Japan, new game, difficulty, forgiving, story, expert. Let's play... Okay, canon mode, the default experience allowing you to influence Naoi and Yasuke's decision during cutscenes. Okay, let's put it on canon mode. Doesn't matter. Guided exploration, yes, because I'll be... Now, let's keep it disabled. Oh, and you can play the game on Japanese. I'm going to keep it off, because I need to pay some attention. And this should be good. And I'll put it on forgiving, because I'm streaming today.
Memories come to us.
Canon mode, so basically removes decisions from the story, I guess. Yeah, I'm playing on game journalist mode. Well, game journalist mode would be story. I'm playing on one notch above journalist mode. 33 FPS in the menu, but remember that this is real time. It's rendering something. I'm trying to skip cutscenes, but it's basically impossible here. At the beginning of the Assassin's Creed games, it's pretty common, unfortunately. Although, be happy that we can actually skip some cutscenes. If you played Assassin's Creed 1, that in the cutscenes you had to walk around, you couldn't skip it, that was a pain in the ass. It was cool to have a real-time cutscene, but you couldn't skip it. I was just walking around the characters while they were speaking. Okay, already here. This, I think, is a cutscene, not actual real-time. Let's skip it. Here we go. Again, below the minimum requirements. Yeah, I mean, they still allow you to play the game even if you have 4 GB of VRAM. Okay, already. By the way, the lowest settings... It's funny that this is the lowest settings. The lowest settings looks good. What the hell? Okay, let's put it on the lowest resolution we can. Maybe let's keep it on quality at 720. I think that makes more sense. Okay, as a base. And you know what? Let's put it on performance upscaling at 720. Yeah. So on this card that is below the minimum requirements, this is what you get on the 1650. So 1650, F's in the chat for the 1650. The VRAM is completely utilized and we're going over we're way above the VRAM limit. So Ubisoft was right when they told me at least 6 gigabytes, man. Yeah. Completely dead, reduced to atoms. Okay, this I can skip. I won't give you any spoilers, obviously. Would the 3050 60X be playable? It should be. Look, I can spam spacebar. I do this on all the streams, by the way. This is not anything in particular that I'm doing for this game. I'm all about performance and no spoilers. And I don't want to replay the prologue, so I want to at least be able to save my progress.
It trails off into infinitesimally smaller fragments.
Yeah, I mean, I think that drop in performance is mostly VRAM related, because when you're VRAM limited, especially in DX12 and Vulkan, the performance loss is huge. So even if I put it at 800 by 600, something like that will be noticeable. It's a classic thing. Yeah, this is a review code. In a couple of days, it's going to release to everyone on Thursday. But they said there will be a day one patch, but the day one patch doesn't specify anything relating to performance. So yeah, this is not final code, but we're 2 days away from release. So I'm pretty certain that we should be okay. Okay, awesome. Okay, cool. Again, I'm thinking we are heavily VRAM limited, and we're below the minimum requirements. Let me see if it saved my progress. Yeah, it did. Awesome. So I'm sorry for the 1650, but it's below the minimum requirements, so it makes complete sense. Let's put this on a window just to be sure. Yeah, it's still the same thing. So bye-bye 1650. Let me see if I can find an even lower resolution than this. That would be funny. Very quickly. Where's the resolution option? I missed it. There you go. Yeah, it doesn't allow us to go below 720. Let me... Do I have... Oh, I can... Okay. Dynamic resolution down to 20%. Let's go as low as possible on FSR. Okay. So with 20% resolution, we get something like this. So 20% 720, this is a result on this card, but we're below the VRAM requirements and we're below basically whatever the game is asking us, so yeah. If you have 4 gigs of VRAM, I don't recommend you play it. 4 gigs is not enough for this one, unfortunately. Steam Deck will not work. Well, the Steam Deck shares the RAM and VRAM, so it can go beyond 4 gigs by sacrificing some system RAM. Here it goes. The 1650 in the bin. Maybe at some other time. I mean, I even have still the 1050 Ti over my PC just to watch over the other GPUs. No, FrameGen is not a good idea because it uses even more VRAM. So there's no point really in enabling FrameGen. It has a performance impact, and at the same time you get more latency, and at the same time it uses more VRAM that, again, we're already maxed out. So it will be even worse performance. Anyway. Okay, refresh the driver. And 3060 now. 12 gigabytes of VRAM. Now, the game has no excuse not to run well. 1080p. Let's put it on high. 1080p high, DLAA. So we're going for native first, without any dynamic BS going on in the background. Your 1070 is ready for battle. Hell yeah. Yeah, the 1070 will be fine. It has 8 gigabytes. Shouldn't be an issue. Alright. Let's go. You have a 3060 Ti with a higher than recommended CPU and RAM. You just want to be able to get 60s with those new hair physics and GI. It should be doable. We'll see. Because now that we have an RTX card, we should have more global illumination and, well, ray tracing options in general. Because I think if you don't have that the selective ray tracing is ray tracing, but in certain places. And by certain places, I mean like the hideout. If you're in a hideout, you'll have ray tracing. That's basically the standard ray tracing thing. But I couldn't turn it off completely. That's what I'm trying to say. That's probably why we have such high VRAM requirements. be max, then scale down. Yeah, you're right. I should start with the highest settings. Let's start with the highest, and we're dropping to high, probably. And it's compiling shaders. It's behind my head, but it says compiling shaders behind me. So that's cool. That's a good sign. Yeah, the 1650, guys, is very old. I'll tell you the release date. It came out in 2019, so 6 years ago. Which again, doesn't mean that a game should run bad on hardware, but at the same time, it's an old budget GPU. 1080p. Dynamic resolution, no thanks. Let's use DLSS on native, so it's DLAA. Okay, native 1080p. On scalability, here it goes. This is what I was talking about the ray tracing. Diffuse hideout only. So it says, adjust where ray trace global illumination is applied. If your GPU doesn't support ray tracing, it can significantly decrease performances. Good text. Diffuse everywhere. Diffuse plus specular. Okay, so the diffuse is for the global illumination. And for the speculars as well. The specular, this one is probably very, very demanding. So, but let's go to the highest settings. Let's put it on the highest. Let's not give an F. And then we drop it to high because it will be necessary. So we're on the highest settings, basically. And then we're going to start going down when it comes to, okay, some restarts are needed. Okay, fine. So let's put it on the highest. We have 12 GB of VRAM. We should be good. And by the way, thank you guys for joining this stream. There's 773 people watching. Thank you so much. That's insane. I wasn't expecting that many people joining. So thank you for that. If you like what I do, please hit like and subscribe if you want to see more. We're doing a Steam Deck live stream after this one. So you guys can see, because it's verified on Steam Deck. So we'll see what that means in a few hours. But I appreciate you guys being here. Yeah, basically Valhalla's engine with ray tracing, it seems to be. Hey ProShot, how's it going? Does it have DLSS? Yes, it does. I connected a controller. Again, the highest settings with DLAA. And thank you so much, Joda, for becoming an awesome supporter. Again, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's Steam Deck verified, so hopefully it's verified and not Steam Deck terrified. Okay, native 1080p on the absolute highest settings. It actually looks pretty damn good on the highest. But we get 20 FPS, obviously. I mean, all the ray tracing is going on in the background. I'm not surprised at all, really. When I'm using ray tracing on this card, I always have to use upscaling or something like that. Let me see what happens if I only put diffuse ray tracing in the hideout. So I should have no ray tracing, technically. Technically. Okay, world apply options. Your progress will reset to the last checkpoint. Sure. There we go. Let's see. Now RT is only for the hideout. Okay, we're now in the upper 20s, so it's still pretty damn demanding, at least in this section. So as usual, I do not recommend the highest settings for most things. You can probably get 30s by just using upscaling. But again, I think ultra settings is always overkill. So I'm going to start, instead of the highest settings now, let's put it on high. Which would probably tell me to reload, which is okay. But high, I think, makes more sense for most people. I mean, let's be honest. Usually ultra is not worth it. Okay, high preset. And this is 1080p native. Okay, right bumper or right trigger to attack. So basically 30 FPS on high, at least here. I'm happy that it starts with combat though, that's pretty cool. Yeah, we're doing the Steam Deck as well. But again, this is 100% native resolution, so there shouldn't be any problems when it comes to image quality. It actually looks pretty good. Alright. Yeah, I might be using medium settings. Because medium settings I think is the recommended for the 3060, actually. It makes sense. Although they're saying, oh, if you use dynamic res and upscaling. So according to Ubisoft, this is a medium settings card with dynamic resolution. So I don't like when they put that in the options menus. But I mean, if you look at medium, I mean, they look almost the same. Let's be honest here. Let's see if medium does anything. So on high, we were getting basically 30 FPS on native. Medium, which is what Ubisoft recommends for this card, at least in the requirements. Yeah, it has forced ray tracing, but only in the hideout, which is fine. So when you get to the hideout, you're probably going to drop frames like crazy. Yeah, for some settings you need to restart the game. That's absolute BS in my opinion. But yeah, forcing a restart is a waste of time for me. But what can you do? If I could just skip this animation at the beginning. Although it's quicker than having lots of logos, which I appreciate. Okay, let's see, medium. Again, high was 30 FPS. Okay, medium is a little bit better. We're in the 40s over here. Visually, honestly, I think it still looks pretty similar. The particle amount seems to be lower. It still drops into the upper 30s. But what happens if I use dynamic resolution? Because I'm using native at the end of the day. Although now... Okay. Come on, I paused the game. Don't freeze on me. Please. Okay, the game is not frozen, which is good, but I paused the game and I'm stuck in here now. LMAO. I'm stuck in here. I'm stuck, step bro. Oh well. That's a bug. Definitely a bug. Oops. I paused the game, I'm sorry. I'm guessing the day one patch will fix that, right? And I force close the game. There it goes. Yeah. We'll see. 1660 Super, I don't have one. Sorry. But I think medium makes more sense, right now at least. What I'm going to do now, actually, is crank up those textures and use DLSS. But they're speaking about dynamic res in the requirements, which I do not like when they put that in the requirements. Like, oh yeah, it looks like this, it runs like this with upscaling and dynamic resolution. So yeah. No, I wasn't using ray tracing. Only for the hideout. Actually, the benchmark tool will make more sense. But on the medium preset, the ray tracing is only for the hideout. If you put it on everywhere, that means it affects the whole world, and you can also add specular for the ray tracing. Let's keep it on the hideout for now, and then we're going to increase it. Texture streaming pool on the highest because, again, we have a lot of VRAM. 12 GB of VRAM or more is recommended for high and above. Okay, let's put it on high then. Then, when it comes to... Okay, virtual textures, let's put that on high. And let's see what happens. Also, before I forget, the upscaling. Unfortunately, we need to use upscaling. Let's try quality, which is funny. Quality, it says 44%, but 44% is below performance upscaling. So I'm not sure if it's a UI bug or what it is. And you can use FrameGen with FSR on this card. But we're going to try that in a moment. Alright, DLSS quality. And let's run the benchmark tool. Just let's see what it is in the meantime. TDP medium preset plus high textures, DLSS quality. Okay. I love when companies add benchmark tools to their games. Okay, we're GPU bound, that makes sense. Although I don't think it looks particularly great in non-direct sunlight areas, at least on medium settings. But with the upscaling it looks okay, at least so far. Cool. Yeah, the non-direct lit areas look horrible. Also, the texture quality at the side of the building. I mean, it definitely looks like Assassin's Creed Valhalla with optional ray tracing. Yeah, I also have my cup. No, definitely Rise of the Ronin looks significantly worse. So interesting. So in the benchmark with medium settings and high textures, we get an average of 59 FPS. And well, as you can see, there is spikes in the frame time. That's not good. That also happened in the previous benchmark tools. I wouldn't say I'm surprised, honestly. Anyway, let's play a little bit of the game, and then we're going to try high settings with dynamic resolution. I think that will make more sense. Yeah, there's people that buy games for just graphics. That's not rare. Okay, here we have similar numbers to the benchmark tool, actually. That's a good sign. And also, everything is on fire, which is a good test. So let me get through this area first. Carrying. Gotcha. Obviously the game is not hard because I'm playing on easy mode. Because I also have to analyze and talk to you guys. That's obviously an excuse. But I'm basically playing in game journalist mode. Okay? Hey, Games Lord. How's it going? The second map is Rise of the Ronin looks amazing. Yeah, but Rise of the Ronin doesn't look particularly great. Come on. Let's not fool ourselves.
Light your fires! The wind will spread them! Arrows! Watch yourselves!
But definitely I would use dynamic resolution on this one. Because before this I was in the mid 50s, low 50s at best, at worst. Now I'm dropping into the 40s, so definitely dynamic resolution is recommended. I hate to recommend dynamic resolution, but it is what it is. Is it frame generation enabled in this setting? No, frame generation is not enabled. That's a good thing to ask because it's not clear. Thanks for the heads up. No FG. But you can enable FrameGen if you have FSR3. So you can use the non-NVIDIA feature. And let's increase those textures. We're hardly using 5 GB of VRAM. This is ridiculous. They're playing it pretty safe when it comes to the settings, I'd say. So let's crank up those textures because this is ridiculous. Oh, I have to restart the game. Fine. Anything for better textures. Yeah, I mean, Assassin's Creed in Japan took forever to show up. This should have been a thing when Assassin's Creed Unity came out. This should have been Japanese at the Assassin's Creed Unity time. When PS4 and Xbox One came out, they should have released a Japanese Assassin's Creed. That was the perfect time to release it. Now there is like one coming. The entire year we have Japanese sword fighting games, which is not a bad thing. I love that, but it just came out at a very bad time. Not good timing by Ubisoft. Because they could have made so much more money.
Light your fires! The wind will spread them! Arrows! Watch yourselves!
Yeah, the VRAM management so far seems to be okay. Let's just speedrun it. Let's ignore everyone and continue ahead. But on the highest VRAM intensive options, it seems to be okay. But this feels like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I would say smoother combat than Valhalla, definitely. But it feels good to play so far. I wish I used a higher difficulty. This is way too easy.
This gate will not stop me.
No, it's not 220 gigs. You sprint at the door and smash through. Okay. I'll be superhuman for a moment.
Stay still. You can't avoid all our blades.
Can't increase settings? Yeah, I could, but I'm looking for 60 frames. And I want to get outside parts with heavy effects. Because I could be changing settings at the beginning of the game a million times, but since the game requires restarts, I'd rather just try and get to an open location. I think that makes more sense. Because here, there's a good amount of effects. I like that. The particle effects in the air, I think, are a nice touch. But again, there's a lot of them and there's a lot of fire. This is probably a part that runs worse than the open world. That's just wishful thinking, of course. But that's what I do with every Assassin's Creed. When Odyssey came out, I streamed it day one as well. And I had to get to the middle of the city to actually stress test the game. I mean, Sekiro is way more difficult, but it's a completely different type of game.
Nobunaga Samurai.
The armor is strong. I must break it.
Pretty funny. Guys, even if you're a game journalist, I highly recommend you play on hard mode.
One last door to get through.
I'm playing on not the easiest, but it's just mashing buttons right now. Play the game on hard if you're playing it seriously.
Just fine articulate at this point. Listen carefully.
When in the crack on that, what was that cake? I don't know, man.
But what has been can never truly be lost.
But definitely, this is a game that you should play on hard
Do you
mode.
understand? Fujibaya Shinawi. The
My issue with
structure
Odyssey was the level scaling.
There is much for
But
you
other than that, it was
and
okay.
to
I had to kill a few bosses at a low level in Odyssey to advance to the middle of the city, because I knew that in the middle of Greece there will be a lot of buildings. But on this one, we're probably going to be dropped into the city as soon as we finish a couple missions. That's usually what happens. Yeah, on the city we can do proper testing, so let's go ahead and play the prologue missions for each character. Ooh, here it runs even worse. Never mind. Now it loaded.
The world is at many wars now, eh?
So here nothing is on fire except those lamps.
Someone else is coming to Iga?
Yes. What they want from us.
Oh, never mind, there's combat now, I can hear it.
Then we won't give it to them.
What happened to the 3050? It died.
know
I
you
took it to
cannot
the
do
RMA, they told me dead memory and maybe dead core, and I was like, okay, how much does it cost? It was more expensive to... Basically, it was more expensive to fix it than getting a new one. The Apple way of doing things. So I was like, okay. Also, by the way, cutscenes seem to be locked to 30. And double attacks, okay. Okay, right bumper. Okay, it tries to do similar to Ghost of Tsushima. You have to be... When he's in a vulnerable state, you hit him. I think that's a vulnerable state, but whatever. I just hit the right bumper. Come on. There we go. This is the vulnerable state. My bad. But there's no exact need to do it properly, honestly. It feels weird though with this character. Okay, good. Everything's on fire. That's what I need. Hopefully it's not the norm. Although it will be for an interesting game is if everyone is always turning stuff on fire. It feels a little weird floaty on the animation though. Not very grounded. Okay. Everyone's dead. We skip. Skippity skip. No blood on blade.
Get to the copper.
Good point. Although there's more blood than I expected. I expected it to be less... to have way less gore. Okay, tagging system. Here's in Far Cry 3. That's okay. Whatever.
Don't fail me now, Blade.
How do I crouch? X to crouch. Okay. Murder grass. Okay, you can whistle
What could that be?
instead of rocks. ¿Por qué no stream en 4K? Porque en 4K hay mucha latencia y no puedo hablar con ustedes en tiempo real. Oh, you can go prone. That's cool. I wish they could remake Assassin's Creed 2 and add this as an option. No, it actually runs a bit better than I expected, although At least in this area, it's not particularly great. I'm not using ray tracing at the end of the day. Ray tracing is on the hideouts. If I enable ray tracing, it's probably going to be quite ahead.
Don't stop. Just find the box.
I'm just trying to get to the open world to make sure
Coffin!
that the performance is consistent when I'm doing tests. Although the animations, I wish they had more weight to them. I don't know, it feels too floaty, especially when she does those flips in the air. It's like she stops. There's no momentum. I don't know. I just feel that Unity did it better in that regard, but Unity is the best one when it comes to parkour, in my opinion. Okay, I think this is the hideout that we're talking about, so here there is ray tracing. I'm pretty sure. Now, I'm not enabling music because that's never safe for a stream. I got burned way too many times. Okay, I cannot skip this.
Rest my plum. I've
This
got
a video,
Box.
not real time.
I couldn't stop him.
you. I should not have put you there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously on rails right now because we're in the tutorial. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the open part.
I'm Tomiko.
Okay, I can skip. Good. Skip, skip, skip. Obviously, if I enable FrameGen, there will be more FPS. It's obvious, but the latency doesn't make sense. Come on, man. Not always higher number equals better.
I'll get the box and everything will be.
But we're going to try that. Let me get to the open world and we'll be good. Because otherwise, what's the point? You have a 3050, you'll be fine. Just use DLSS. Classic. Pathfinder on, sure.
I should take Kitty. To Katano! Right,
It's again
Kitty?
fun. So far I like the combat. It feels like a smoother Valhalla. I wish the animations were a bit more, how to say, had more momentum to them.
Oi.
But it's more gory than Valhalla,
Stew
and the
hiding,
combat feels
Kitty?
better. It doesn't feel
What's
so
in the
stiff
box?
when it comes to combat. Again, just my opinion, first impressions. I've been here for 30 minutes playing, and I've been going in and out of the game. So, you can change this. Oh, you can, you can be standing on the horse. That's
If
cool.
Stu is willing to risk his life, I can do no less. I will not regret my mistakes, Kitty. I will fix them.
Come on. Continue. Did you test Mortal Kombat 1? Yeah, when it came out. This is DLSS 3.7. We're going to try higher DLSS options later. First, let's get to a town or something, and
That must be Katano.
we're going to try everything.
The box thief will be somewhere he feels safe.
Sorry,
A
horse.
well-guarded place. I'm not My grappling hook will get me up there.
Grappling hook. Cool. Observe the surroundings, highlight loot. Okay, this is like when we're using the eagle in Odyssey. Gotcha. Yeah, very Ubisoft, that's okay. I was expecting that. And he didn't hear me. That's okay, whatever. Dead.
I can throw a kunai one-handed. There it is.
Yeah, they definitely
That's not the box they stole from me.
had Ghost of Tsushima
I
as a
need to keep
base
looking.
when they were making this. They looked up a lot of Ghost of Tsushima. But it's clearly more Ubisoft open world. I do like that they give you the grappling hook at the very beginning. That's usually an upgrade in most games. I don't see any eagles. So probably not. Oof. Yeah, no momentum there. Oops. Sorry, sir. You didn't see nothing. Enemies cannot see you in the dark. Use shadows to sneak by. I have to hold for eagle vision. And I opened photo mode by accident. Okay. So it's even easier than I expected. Cool. Where to now? I don't even retrieve the box. I will. Box. Okay, this guy looks big. It has a 4070. Unfortunately, I don't have one. So right now, not a possibility, but it will be faster on the 4060. I can assure you that. And this is cool. Can I tear this open? Yeah, like in Ghost of Tsushima.
You never think.
Okay.
Still
Where's
not
the
the right
box?
box. The thief must have it with him.
So if the thief has this with him, it's probably the guy in yellow. Yeah, they want you to stealth, which is good. I like that they are focusing on that.
A few more places to search.
Although it feels a little bit lower effort when it comes to stealth.
Quickly, they're coming.
Okay, where's the yellow? There you go, the orange. Come on, Mark. This is the thief, I'm pretty sure. I hope. Ooh, Jesus.
Give me the box and I'll go.
Oh, this is the thief, my bad. So I think I killed a civilian. Oops.
Why do you steal from us? Who do you work for?
Okay. Nice. Go Estus. Yeah. That was pretty damn cool, by the way. It looks pretty good.
Assassins among us!
I like that at least visually it looks consistent. I don't see like super high quality assets and then somewhere else. But again, at the beginning, in the tutorial, it is usually pretty polished. We need to get to the open world.
Where are you going? Stop!
And the frame time looks good. I'm not sure why the benchmark showed horrible frame times. I mean, when it comes to VRAM, but as you can see, this runs better than the very beginning, that everything was on fire, which makes complete sense. But as soon as I get outside to the open world, we can say for sure. Yeah, 5600 with a 7600 should be okay. And again, no spoilers, because This is just a frame rate test, but I cannot skip this. Daytime is more demanding, sometimes not. Sometimes in nighttime, that there's a lot of lamps outside, there can be more demands on the hardware, because sometimes those static lights can be dynamic, so maybe they cast shadows. Sometimes nighttime is more demanding in games. Power of VRAM. Yeah, I mean, VRAM usage is pretty low so far. Never skip a cutscene meme. Yeah, definitely. She was like fighting and then it's in the ground doing this. The least amount of context, the better, because I don't want to spoil it for you guys. I'm trying to skip as much as I can. I think now we're going to get the title card. Yep, there it goes. Assassin's Creed Shadows. Also, by the way, the cutscenes are 30 FPS so far. The settings, you can see them at the left side of the screen, bottom left.
You.
Okay, we skip.
Place?
Come on,
How did I
wake up.
here? Did you?
Ray tracing is deactivated. Yes, it's only activated in the hideout at the moment. Oh, this reminds me so much of the previous games. Running in the loading screen. Ah, that's cool. I wish there was more of that.
Getting past me.
More loading screens?
First challenge.
That's weird.
What did I say? Faster. Let us begin. Good posture, but always defend.
Come on, hit me. Attack!
Good.
Okay.
There's weight behind your strike. Good posture, but always defend.
Good posture, but always defend. As you can see, guys, daytime
But always defend.
runs actually better than nighttime, at least so far.
Good posture, but always defend.
Good posture, but always defend.
Good posture, but always defend.
What's up with that dialogue?
Don't go easy on your father. Pretend I am your enemy.
Come on, deflect.
I did not.
Okay. Hit him in the face.
I am.
1650 Super, no, ni lo intentes con 4 GB de vida.
Win this match, and I will cook tonight.
Deal.
Oops. I always try to block that instead of dodging. Yeah, the clipping.
I did
Yeta!
win.
For dinner.
Fine.
That's
the eagle in
yes. Auntie Matsu kept me for hours yesterday.
clearing the wasp nest from her tree should have taught you.
Okay,
to work.
auto follow, cool.
I
I can
kept
speak to
getting
you guys
stung.
in the meantime.
No complaints.
I mean, now that nothing is on fire, we're actually
Alone, we are nothing.
at a much higher frame rate.
Together,
So my guess
Height
at the
of
moment
great
that you should
mountain
do,
is not made by one
I don't
stone.
like saying this, but using dynamic resolution sounds like a good idea,
Gigants are.
just due to the fact that it
Must
can
come together to form.
be very variable depending on what's going on, like most games. But here when particles show up, it dropped like 15 frames over this.
As my daughter, much
So
is
dynamic
expected.
resolution makes way more
Fujibayashi
sense.
name is a rock at the base.
Yeah, you can also lower particle
I
effects,
know, Stuart.
but I
help
didn't
Auntie.
notice much of an increase in
You know
performance
what
doing
she
that.
will give you in return.
Breakfast.
So, it is not for nothing.
Oh, there's a cat.
You give, and you receive. That is community.
I have my own work to do.
Also, DLSS doesn't look bad on this one. The hair is a little bit weird, but so far it looks good with DLSS. No, it's DLSS 3.7, so we can actually even force DLSS 4 if we wanted to.
You have chores now, eh?
Let me check very quickly the map, if I have one. I don't seem to.
What will it be today, Auntie Matsu? Weeding the turnips?
It's the classic at the
Scrubbing
beginning, you
iron
need to
pots?
gather
I'll find out
resources.
just over the hill.
Go give me this plant.
Good morning, Auntie Matsu.
But definitely, even real-time cutscenes are locked to 30. That's pretty disappointing. Yeah, anything less than 6 gigs of VRAM is a no-go. At least so far, it seems to be that way. I tried with 4 and it was a mess with 4 gigabytes. Okay, rope, obviously. Oof. I always find bugs. You want to play at 540p? I mean, some people don't mind. I'm interested in seeing how it runs on Steam Deck because it's verified.
An animal. A deer?
Oops. Oh, okay, I thought I did it wrong.
Whoever did this will pay.
Observe your surroundings and highlight objects of interest. I don't see any. Oh, never mind. I'll hit him with a wooden sword.
Strangers. Not. Who are you?
See what you've got.
They also have wooden swords. Oh no, those are not wooden swords. Oops.
She's not worth it. Go, go.
Okay, perfect. That was easy. But so far, again, dynamic resolution I think is the best way to play it, at least so far. So I think it's time to start doing tweaks, actual tweaks. So we can use dynamic res with a 60 frames target. And I don't know why, even if I enable dynamic res, it doesn't allow me to... Hang on. Balance, performance, custom. There you go. So the minimum resolution, I think we should be at the worst point at 66% and at best at 100%. So this should jump between 720 and 1080p. I know it sounds bad, but it's DLSS at the end of the day. Should look good. Let's see if this works, or if I went too far, I went too far. Yeah, and the game has a weird definition for DLSS and dynamic resolution. If you look at the dynamic resolution here, if the upscaler is on performance, if I disable dynamic resolution, quality DLSS is 44% resolution. That's not usually the case. Usually 66%. But if I turn on dynamic res, it will do the correct one. As you can see, 66% and the minimum of 33%, which is pretty damn low. So use presets. The resolution scale here doesn't make sense to me. It's different than in other games. I'm pretty sure this doesn't make sense. When dynamic resolution is off, I mean. Because quality DLSS is never 44% resolution. But if I turn on dynamic resolution, so I'm very confused. Also, on quality DLSS with dynamic resolution, it jumps between 33% resolution and 100% resolution. That's a little bit too much, in my opinion. But maybe that's how the game works. I don't know. So I would say balanced dynamic res makes more sense. Let's see if that...
Something big.
Yeah, but we're still not hitting 60s. So I'm confused. I don't know what they're trying to do. Quality shouldn't be 44%. So something doesn't add up. Something is weird over here. Also, for the people that ask for FrameGen, let's disable dynamic res. Let me see if performance is actually 25% resolution. No, it doesn't look like 25% resolution on performance. It might be. But it doesn't look like 50% resolution. Sorry, it doesn't look like 25% resolution. Anyway, I'll pretend that's a bug, because I don't know what else to tell you guys. That's weird. Let's do FrameGen, super quick. So with quality DLSS, we get 56 standing here, but with FrameGen, let's do FrameGen. There's only FSR for this one because it's not a 40 series card. Instead of 57, we get worse performance. Oh, never mind. There it goes. It's going. 80, 90. Okay. There it goes. From 77 to 91. I can definitely feel the input lag. But hey, it works. It's like I said in Ghost of Tsushima. If you start playing the game with FrameGen already, probably the timing for attacks and dodging and parrying, you can get used to it. But if you're playing without FrameGen, the timing will feel completely different because you have input latency. So yeah, it feels okay. Also, when it comes to the UI, it has the same issue as Ghost of Tsushima with FrameGen on. If you look at the edges of the UI, see that UI over there? Not sure if it's super obvious, but whatever's behind the UI is at the real frame rate, so it's basically half the frame rate behind the UI. It's very hard to see on stream, but as more UI elements start showing up, you're going to see that issue. But again, image quality, it's okay. Looks a little bit over sharpened, but I think we can tweak the sharpness. So FrameGen is not that bad. It's okay. I was expecting way worse input latency. Let's do a blind test. This is the controller. It responds pretty quickly. I can feel some input lag, but let's see if I disable FrameGen. Let's see if it responds quicker. Because the base frame rate for FrameGen is okay. Okay, it definitely responds way better. At least I'm not even sure if FrameGen is off. Yeah, but it responds way faster. NVIDIA Reflex, I'm not seeing that option over here. But again, we're using FSR FrameGen. There we go. Now it's saved. Okay. I can feel it immediately. Yeah. Okay. It makes a lot of sense now. Yeah. You guys might not be able to tell because it's a live stream. I'm doing my best to show what it feels like, but now it responds immediately. Okay, it's immediately noticeable when you jump from one to the other. But again, I have a very trained eye, so yeah. It's hard to tell on stream, yeah, but again, I can immediately feel the difference. Okay. Dynamic resolution, I'm not sure if it's working well, honestly. But if quality is actually 44%, we have a big problem. Yeah, quality jumps from 33 to 100% resolution. It's not bad though. Okay. 30 FPS is a new 60. That's hilarious. Okay. Let's start trying. I think medium settings is okay enough. Just increase those textures. And the screen space stuff, you might want to put it on high, but I'm going to tweak it similarly to what I did with the Valhalla. So let's start with ultra high, just as a base. Ray tracing, I think medium should cut it for 12 gigabytes. Screen space effects, we keep them on the highest. This thing about the lights, these images are not very useful. I think medium looks okay. Shadow quality, this is for the shadow resolution. Probably the distance as well. Medium should be good. Texture streaming, highest. Post effects, highest. Water. Medium should be fine. Particles, this one I think is a big one. It says fidelity of particle effects, smoke, fire, and debris. This one, I'm pretty sure it's super taxing, especially on the higher options. So let's put it on low, just for those more difficult to run the pods. Draw distance, high should be good enough for both. Micro polygon, adjust memory allocated to virtual geometry rendering. Okay, lower settings might cause popping. Let's put this on medium. Terrain, medium. Deformation, this is a terrible comparison shot. They moved the camera. That's fine. Medium looks okay. Looks similar to Valhalla on medium, actually. Scatter density, this is important. Let's put it on medium. Virtual textures, let's put the highest. Character quality, very high. Hair strands, let's put it only on our character. Clouds, low. Fog, low. And that should do it. So let's reload. Again, I'm using my knowledge from the previous Assassin's Creed game because it's the same engine with upgrades. So it's, let's call it a mid-high. Ultra high textures, DLSS quality with dynamic res, FG on, FG off, sorry, RT off. Which, sorry, RT hideout. This means that the open world doesn't have ray tracing in real time. And this gives us dynamic resolution, and it seems to be 50 to 60.
See, Chue? Nothing to worry about. I handled
Okay,
them
this
just
invisible
fine.
wall.
But it sounds like something was following them to Eva. something big.
And again, lowering the settings much more than this didn't make a lot of sense to me. The dynamic res I think is absolutely necessary. Just due to the fact on how it ran as soon as the game launched. At the beginning that there was a lot of effects. And I think this should be good enough. Unfortunately, the dynamic resolution, even if it's jumping between 33% resolution and 100%, is not maintaining 60s across the board. So I'm not sure if it's a bug with dynamic resolution or whatever.
So tell me,
His-
what
Don't-
you was that is
And the cutscenes are locked to 30.
he ha-
Greetings from Brazil, greetings from Uruguay, sir.
Yes.
Wait.
The 3050 4 gigs, with 4 gigabytes of VRAM, I wouldn't recommend it.
waiting or
4 gigabytes is just not enough
So you
for this
might-
game. It destroys the performance with 4 gigs. Is it me or does this not look any better than Ghost of Tsushima graphically? I mean, when it comes to graphics and art, I think art is way more important. You can see the drawbacks of... you can see the graphics quality in Ghost of Tsushima and see that it's inferior in many parts. And when it comes to art, it kicks it right out of the park. I mean, there's a lot of new games that have better graphics, but the art doesn't match. And I think Ghost of Tsushima, when it comes to art, destroys this game. And when it comes to ray tracing and all that, Ghost of Tsushima doesn't have it. And you can notice when looking at the shadows in the grass and all that. Completely different engine. But again, they kick their ass. Ghost of Tsushima kicks everybody's ass with art, which is what matters. I mean, you can have ray tracing and have a game look bad.
Go.
Skip.
No. They
The boy pain and you
go. Don't.
Really?
Now, 4 gigabytes of VRAM, not happening.
No, wait, I was.
Did you-
I don't.
Sorry.
There are.
Skip.
To be on my feet again. Even with the ache. I wonder.
But definitely
if
the
I could
dynamic
be
resolution
strong
is
enough.
helping. I just
wonder
wish
if
it did its
even
job
that's
better.
it.
Also, by the way, I forgot to mention, I'm using the dynamic hair strands. That's probably hitting performance quite
There's a
heavily.
Tanuki over that way. Her name is.
So
Mika.
that's probably also a performance
Why
hit.
don't you try sneaking up and sketching her?
Although it looks a little bit out of focus, but the hair looks pretty good with the strands. It reminds me of actually Tomb Raider Tress
I
Effects.
don't want to startle her.
Yeah, I mean, performance should be better, definitely. But I mean, I think it looks consistent, at least. And this is without ray tracing.
You can do it.
Crouch and approach slowly, observe. Oh, I have to paint him. Gotcha. What do I have to do? Paint. Yeah, but I don't have... Why do I have to crouch to do this?
Oh. Perfect spot.
Go. To be fair, in Red Dead Redemption 2, we also have something like this. The 4060 right after this, and then we do the Steam Deck.
I love you.
Yeah.
It just-
Why?
Come on. I'll show you.
Yeah, definitely, I'm having more fun with the combat than I expected. It's way less floaty than Valhalla when it comes to the combat. So they definitely improved on the combat quite well. And it's clear that her character is more for stealth, and Yasuke is more for heavy attacks and being a tank.
Think up.
Will it save the company? I don't know. Just the name itself will sell a lot of copies, I'm pretty sure. Okay, now we have the Hidden Blade. IGN gave 8 out of 10. IGN is not a good metric. Which DLSS preset? This is quality, but with dynamic resolution on. So it's jumping between 33% and 100%. It's pretty aggressive. But I think with these settings, it's good enough. Good enough doesn't mean good. It means good enough. Let's enable ray tracing. Yeah, Red Dead 2 is another great example of good art. And I cannot pause the game for some reason. Okay, now I have the map. Finally. Okay. Definitely a Ubisoft game. Okay. So again, you can change the frame rate target over here, but 60s, it doesn't hit it consistently. Maybe balance makes more sense, but I haven't noticed much of a difference. Let me see if I manually do it, if it changes in any way. Okay. I'm trying my best over here. Yeah, when I do it manually, it looks different. I'm confused, honestly. I'm not sure what the dynamic resolution is doing exactly. Just because of the numbers. Because if I'm not using dynamic resolution, and I use DLSS on quality, it says 44%. The resolution is represented as a ratio of the surface of pixels with full resolution screen. So I'm not sure if this is saying, okay, it's 44% resolution per axis or the entire resolution. So, because quality should be 66%, not 44. So something doesn't add up. Try going 1440p with high textures? Yeah, I will. But what I'm trying to say is I'll keep dynamic resolution on because the game seems to be, I guess, engineered around it. But before jumping to 1440p, let's stay with dynamic resolution on quality DLSS. I think quality should be good enough. And no chromatic aberration, obviously. And let's put it on diffuse everywhere. RT diffuse everywhere. Man, my settings are getting so long that I have to make the text smaller. Okay, let's see. I enable ray tracing everywhere. Okay. Yeah, I can see it dropping resolution further actually. If you look at the hair. Yeah, the hair is a pixelated mess now. But I can see why it doesn't look as good as other games without ray tracing. This is definitely built around ray tracing. I think it looks so much better with the ray tracing on. Although, of course, the resolution has to scale down significantly. I can see the resolution is well lower. So yeah, probably the other ray tracing option is going to be even more demanding. Diffuse everywhere. And we're on medium ray tracing. But I still feel it should look better without ray tracing. Yeah, another Assassin's Tower. Yeah. Let me see if I put highest ray tracing, what happens. Okay, reload. Let's see. RT diffuse everywhere. Ultra. Okay. Yeah, definitely a performance hit. The game can no longer drop the resolution further. Interesting. Let's see. I'll do a very quick blind test with the diffuse thing. So if we have global illumination, the light should bounce and hit this part as an example. Closed environments are great for this. So it should be like that. We should immediately notice if I turn off ray tracing. So let me see. So you can see in the picture behind me, ray tracing on, ray tracing off. So let's disable ray tracing. Okay. Okay, I took a couple screenshots. Let's do a comparison. You'll be able to see what I'm doing for a second. Okay, there it goes. Okay, side by side. Let's see which one is which, if you guys can notice. I think it's pretty obvious which one is which. I think the resolution actually is what gives me which one is which, actually. Let me read the chat for a moment. I'm using iCat. It's an NVIDIA thing. Why is the screen tearing so much? Oh, yeah, it's just my capture card. I need to restart it. Okay, so the left one is ray tracing and the right one is no ray tracing. Basically. It still looks pretty similar in some parts, but you can see that the shadowing is more accurate. It looks less flat. You can notice that here as well. This is just an example, of course. No ray tracing on. So by looking at this, you can clearly notice that the game was built around having ray tracing. I mean, even look at the highlights over here around this. But of course, the resolution is lower. I'm using dynamic resolution. So with ray tracing on, the image quality, well, you can see it here. I have a lower resolution, but the image with ray tracing looks significantly more grounded. And also the green from the outside actually puts the visuals, the environment is also very green. So yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. Actually makes sense. The green filter thing is because there is green outside. Light bounces, and boom, there's some green stuff on top of it. So would I use ray tracing on this one? Yeah, I can definitely notice the shadowing. It looks less washed out. This game is was clearly built thinking about ray tracing, and then they probably were like, okay, we also need no ray tracing, so more people play it. So I think ray tracing is worth it when it comes to the visuals, if you can pull it off. But otherwise, I mean, that's why they always recommend dynamic resolution. It's hilarious when they say, oh yeah, with dynamic resolution on, you get this frame rate. And I'm like, dude, let's do native super quick and see the performance impact of ray tracing. So this is native with ray tracing off. Let me hide this for a moment. This is ray tracing off at native resolution. So we get in 48. And with ray tracing on, instead of 48, we get 30, 38, 40. Okay, we don't lose a lot of performance, at least in this area. But I can immediately notice how much more grounded the scene looks. Even the grass. I'm going to do one more comparison and I will stop talking about it. But I think that the game doesn't look artistically good without ray tracing. It's clear that they went full on with ray tracing in mind. Which sucks, honestly. I think it's too soon. It feels like super washed out without ray tracing. Yeah, we're doing 1440. Give me one sec. I just wanted to do the comparison once more, just to show you what I think. So 40s versus 55. So we lose 15 FPS. It could be much worse, honestly. But I mean, if you look at the details, I think the difference is huge. The tone of the game is completely different. It looks flat without ray tracing. I mean, just look at this thing at the side. It's one of the few times that I think ray tracing might be worth the lower resolution. Just look at how flat this looks without ray tracing. I just think that makes the game look bad, honestly. What do you guys think? Would you use ray tracing on this one? Yeah, we're trying the Steam Deck today, definitely. But before going to 1440p, 1080p, dynamic resolution with quality DLSS, balance if you want a few extra frames, and this should give you, actually I will lower the sharpness a little. This should give you a decent image, 50 to 60, and ray tracing only in the hideout. If you want to use ray tracing outside, which I highly recommend, keep the same settings, and put this on, maybe on high instead of ultra high. But you can clearly notice the ray tracing impact. High should be good enough. Then the screen space effects, something like this on the rest of the settings, a mix of medium and high. And particles on low. And I put hair strands on only my character, because I really, again, the hair, I'm going to be looking at my character more than the other characters, let's be honest. And I lowered all the volumetric stuff that is usually a big hit when it comes to performance in this engine. With RT looks really good. Yeah, definitely on this game, I would highly recommend ray tracing. I think it's absolutely worth it. Without it, it just looks horrible. It just feels like incomplete. Which sucks, really. I wish both look good, but you need to do some sacrifices. You can clearly notice in the image behind me. Even if it's only diffuse the global illumination. The specular stuff, that's something else. This is even more demanding. I wouldn't use this one. But yeah. Yeah, with the diffuse one, the resolution drops even lower. Yeah, I would say diffuse everywhere is the best option. At least for this card. Only diffuse. And again, if you don't want to use ray tracing, turn this off. You have a higher resolution. It will look less pixelated. And those will be my settings for the 3060. In this case, I think ray tracing is worth it. It's one of the few instances where I would say ray tracing needs to be there. Otherwise, it looks god-awful. Well, if you want to use FrameGen, that's also an option, but the input lag is pretty noticeable, in my opinion. But again, the ray tracing will drop the resolution pretty in a pretty big way. And you get into the 40s. So probably on this card, if you're using ray tracing, expect drops into the 40s.
Plenty of bamboo around. Let's see if this blade is as sharp as I remember.
RT global occlusion setting. Yeah. Yeah, if the ray tracing is disabled, it will only be active in the hideout. This setting tells the game, okay, do this even in the open world, basically. You cannot decide which one you prefer. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in this case, I think they did a good job showing off how good it looks with global illumination. But at the same time, I think they could have done a better job with the non-RT visuals as well.
Where will you go then?
To the home of a you know.
They're going... I'm pretty sure they were going to enforce ray tracing no matter what. But then they changed their mind. That's my guess. Yeah, the cutscenes are locked to 30. I think that's the worst part about it. Because they're real-time cutscenes. I forgot to check if the hair makes a lot of difference. It probably does. Let me disable that hair as well. And now that I'm here, all in the hideout. For people that want at least to be close to 60. And I have to restart the game. Oops. Well, it says that, but it didn't ask me to. Okay. And now RT diffuse hideout. So this is, again, I would play into the 40s for ray tracing, but in this game it makes a huge difference. There's a lot of indirect lighting. Custom game engine, better than Unreal. I mean, Unreal, this is not Unreal, by the way, the people that don't know. This is the Anvil engine, the one that they've been using for Assassin's Creed Unity, Valhalla. Well, Assassin's Creed Unity is a great example of good art. That game looks incredible even today. And it doesn't use ray tracing. That's because they actually put like 4 times of day and they did custom art for each one. Then when you have dynamic time of day like on this one and you are trying to do ray tracing or indirect lighting, if you don't have ray tracing, the game won't look as good. So yeah. I wish they focused on art more than adding ray tracing, but that's the state of affairs even on Unreal. Yeah, I mean, again, it's pretty clear by looking at the game that they designed this game around the visuals, at least around ray tracing. Because the difference, at least on this one, is pretty massive, visually speaking. Although I was expecting way worse performance with ray tracing on.
I need to paint this.
You lose like 15 to 20 FPS. So yeah, the Division 2014 had dynamic GI before hardware RT was a thing. True. That's why they downgraded the graphics after the trailer, I'm pretty sure. But it sucks because it forces you to upgrade your hardware.
Easy.
Anyway, let's do 1440p. I'll save, just in case the game asks me to restart. So 1440. Okay, we're going to keep upscaler on balanced. And let's keep ray tracing the same. We're going to be in the hideout anyway. I'm pretty sure we cannot do 60s at 1440p. At least not with these settings.
I can't let this stand.
But this is dynamic resolution.
It's none of your business, girl.
Oh, and this is DLSS balanced, not quality. It looks way better, even with dynamic at 1440p. I can now see more details.
The last time I was here, everything was different. Chichiue was alive. I only hope Tomiko's
Oh, before
alright.
doing this, let me check if the ray tracing also covers water in the speculars. Oh yeah, it definitely does. Some things. Okay. But that's way more demanding, obviously. DLSS swapper when? Good point. Give me a sec. Yeah. There it turns off ray tracing. Now it's cube maps. With screen space reflections. That's pretty cool. Although it's a much bigger performance impact. But the screen space reflections look pretty good. Yeah, 4K is probably viable as well. Seems pretty scalable to me, honestly. Dynamic resolution seems to be working pretty well. Higher resolutions can carry RT. Yeah, definitely. Although higher resolutions are going to require quite a bit more performance for ray tracing. Is it DLSS 4 or 3? This is DLSS 3. We're going to try DLSS 4 in a moment. Let me skip all these cutscenes.
I only wish I had
Yeah, I mean, playing on PC was always about finding the right settings. That's why my channel exists. I was always frustrated that nobody explains it. So I tried to do research. Okay, here I'm in the hideout, so here there's always ray tracing running.
It's a humble beginning, but we'll need a lot of foundation to make that mountain.
So here, whether you want it or not, the ray tracing is there. So this is how it works on consoles, actually. RTX was with the performance hit. In my opinion, yes. The game looks flat without ray tracing.
This should be enough for the walls.
I did a comparison a few minutes ago. I'm going to put this in timestamps when the stream finishes, so you can check it out. But I think it's completely worth using ray tracing on this one. Otherwise, it looks horrible in my opinion.
That's enough stone.
Sí, tal cual, Sergio. Gather resources. Again. Yeah. Yeah, the city is what matters to me as well. Let me get through this part. Here I'm getting 30s because, again, in the hideout there is ray tracing, whether you want it or not. Except in the
I
water.
could practice Kujikiri here. Look within.
Yeah, they couldn't make the fire stay in the torch. Yeah, that's hilarious. Okay. Naruto. Ultimate Ninja 4. I'm not going to pretend that I understand what this is. But it looks pretty cool. I like that posterized effect. Although I can barely see what to press in some parts. Does this ever end? Okay, there we go. Really? You know the difference with Ghost of Tsushima and things like this? In Ghost of Tsushima, you wrote a poem by moving the camera around in sections like this. This I'm not sure what I'm doing, honestly. It does end? Okay. There we go. The poem and this are not fun. Yeah, I mean the poem at least is just pointing at things.
Where are we going?
Into the forest to find something I have not seen in many years.
See, now I'm
Now?
outside
I thought we were
the
going to fight.
hideout,
Trust me,
I think.
I know it. Now is the perfect time.
They say the Oda clan has the teeth of bears and the same craving for flesh.
His appetite is never satisfied. That Oda
Did you try this later on Steam Deck? Yeah, definitely. Although I cannot open Ubisoft Connect on
does he
2
want?
computers at once, so I need
We
to
said
download
nothing
it
to them.
first on Steam
What
Deck.
they all
So
say they
it'll take a
want.
little bit longer, but I'll be here,
But
definitely.
I would guess the real answer is power. We could be tiny mice in a hole, but with
At 4K I'm going to target 30s,
Oda
definitely.
will not stop his knife until we have stopped scratching.
Then we have
That was
to
Guitar
stop them
Hero,
first.
yeah, definitely.
And with your
Something like
father
that.
and Momochi-san
4061.
we
Let
stand
me
a great
change the
chance.
DLSS
Momochi-san,
to
you will fight with
the
us?
Transformer model.
Oda Nobukatsu
And I'm
will
going to
finish by
try
sunrise
4K,
tomorrow.
and then we're
By
doing
nightfall. We are getting close.
the 4060. I've been here a little bit too long, I apologize, but I wanted to look at it very closely.
I believe
You're looking
this
more
is
buffed.
the way.
I go to the gym
Take a
now.
closer look at that shrine. There.
Thanks, by the way. I just do it, it's not conscious. I just grab the side of my chair and I feel comfortable. I'm not showing off. But really bothers me that the cutscenes are locked to 30.
Yes.
Then wait.
Will you-
It's really jarring. Division casualties will result in desynchronization. It sets you all over again. Can you play this on 3070 Ti? Yeah, 3070 Ti should be fine. 130 watts, 3070 laptop. If you can get a 4070 laptop, I think it will be a better investment. It's pretty similar to the actual desktop version. But that wattage should be okay. Okay, I can skip past them. That's hilarious. Can I climb here? Oh yeah, that's not happening in real life. But I'm happy I lowered the particles, because here otherwise you'll kill the frame rate. Give me input lag, screen tearing, everything. Okay, oh, hold up, let me restart the capture card. Let's do 4K super quick, and then we do DLSS 4. That should save this.
What?
For 4K though, I'm doing a frame rate target of 40, 30, with performance upscaling. So this is 4K now. 4K, medium high, ultra textures, DLSS performance with dynamic res 30 and the diffuse ray tracing on only on the hideout and on high, basically. And the rest of the settings are something like this. Let's see if the VRAM holds up. It should, but
What's happening? Why is this happening?
okay.
I begged Stewie for this.
It looks super
Fight
sharp
just
now.
to kill? What have I done?
It looks so much better at 4K, obviously. Damn. I wish I could play this at 60s at 4K on this card. Not happening, but still. Yeah, the 4070 Super can probably do it just fine.
What was that?
They are spying on us.
You're hearing things.
Did they
It must
hear
have been the wind. Although the dynamic resolution, maybe I need to be a bit more aggressive
I'm
with
covered
it.
in blood. No, one of us had to die.
Oh,
I
turn
had no
the
choice.
frame counter off? Why? What I do notice though on this setting is that the frame rate of the grass physics is pretty low. Oh my, that was close. Hi,
Was that
how's it
moment
going?
that you-
What do you think about the game so far? I really like the combat, the mechanics and all that. The gameplay, that I said. I feel that this is way smoother when it comes to gameplay than Valhalla. Doesn't feel as stiff. And I wish the animations, at least when it comes to parkour, were smoother. It feels stiff. The parkour feels pretty stiff in comparison to... I'm talking about older games. Parkour feels pretty similar to Valhalla when it comes to that. But the
I have
combat
to kill
feels
again?
significantly
Not
better. And the stealth stuff
Even closer.
also feels better than Valhalla, but Valhalla didn't care about stealth. So yeah, at least...
Are they everywhere?
Oh, okay, the assassins arrived. So at least when it comes to gameplay, I can say that I'm pretty satisfied.
Don't look back. Just keep going.
And Valhalla, let's be honest, is full of garbage. And by full of garbage, I mean filler missions everywhere.
Iga does not
I don't know if
surrender.
this game also has that. It probably does. But I do not know because I played just a few hours. Maybe 1.5, yeah, like 1.5 to 2 hours. But the combat feels significantly better than Valhalla. Ooh, I'm dropping hard. Frame rate. Okay, armor is down. It's funny, I disabled the music, but it still plays here. Also, I cannot comment on the story, because the story I skipped the cutscenes. This is just to see frame rate. First impressions. But I was expecting way higher VRAM consumption. This game is smaller in scope than Valhalla. DLC might change that though. Okay, I hope that the size doesn't mean the quality is worse. But so far with the gameplay, I'm very happy. Okay, now I'm in the hideout. So ray tracing is on, whether you like it or not. At least for the global illumination. The real problem is when it's Monster Hunter Wilds performance patch. Not happening. Is it going to happen? I don't know. Yeah, when it comes to the RPG versions of Assassin's Creed, I'm talking about Origins, from Origins, everything after Unity, the parkour animations are better. They still feel stiff, but I'm comparing it to Assassin's Creed Unity, definitely. So in that front they're improving. I don't know how they could make that worse in the past. Maybe they fired the people that made the animations in Unity. But when it comes for dropping, for example, that looks okay. But again, not even close to Unity's animations, which I guess is a tall order. Anyway, let's go back to 1080p and change the DLSS to DLSS 4. Again, the target will be 60s, DLSS quality, no FrameGen, and the settings, something like this. I go through it quickly to show you, but that's about it. And we save. Yeah, I think FrameGen shouldn't exist, but hey, what can you do? First of all, I'm going to check the NVIDIA app and see if it actually did recognize that the game exists. Let me see if I have it installed. I should. No, I don't have the NVIDIA app. Ah, Jesus. Let me try it like this, because most people are not going to download the DLSS swapper. Let's be honest. And it actually worked on my laptop, the NVIDIA app, to change the DLSS profile. So we'll see. Yeah, force FrameGen isn't. The thing is, FrameGen should be an extra, not a requirement. And that's the problem right now. They're relying on it, at least for Monster Hunter Wilds. Yeah, come on. What do you think about 3080? Should it be alright? Yeah, should be fine. The game isn't even super VRAM intensive. Yeah, the freaking NVIDIA overlay. Okay, it detected Assassin's Creed Shadows. Here we go. DLSS. So when it comes to... Okay, support not detected. Seriously. DLAA, ultra performance. It never detects properly. Maybe we need a driver for this, but I'm pretty sure... Okay, super resolution, there it goes. What the hell? It's a K. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Okay. So I can change the model, but everything else seems to be missing. And the FrameGen is not detecting it. So anyway, it's okay. I'm going to put it across the board actually. If I can. No, you cannot. But here it is. I changed it for preset K. If the FrameGen does sacrifice graphics, how bad? It's not that it sacrifices graphics. The UI has some minor bugs there, but the thing is the input lag. The input lag is much higher. At the beginning I didn't notice it much, but then when I went back to no FrameGen, it was immediately noticeable. Can you select the other games from the Animus menu? I'm not sure. I saw that, but I didn't try. Give me 1 sec. I'm still at 4K. That's the thing. If I choose Valhalla, what happens? Okay. Launch memory, I'm not going to. Also, it froze the game. I remember they did this for Unity actually, when the game begins. 1080p. And technically this should look a lot better. Let's find out, shall we? And this is 1080p. Okay, first of all, yeah, I can notice the better image quality. Not sure if I did it correctly and I'm lying to myself, but that sword looks significantly sharper. It's probably hard to notice in a stream, but it does run a bit worse. Which makes sense. DLSS, the preset, the Transformer model is more demanding. And we're in the hideout that actually has ray tracing. Yeah, I'm in the hideout. Let me fast travel. Of course, it's unavailable. Yeah, the game is too gray. That's because ray tracing is off. At least right now you'll notice it. But I'm noticing that the game looks way sharper. Yeah, way sharper. Yeah, preset K for DLSS is completely worth it. A little bit too sharp. We can lower that in the settings. But this looks great in comparison. Let's do the same at 1440p. Do you see any ghosting? No, not really. On this one I haven't seen any specific ghosting going around that distracted me. It looks a bit over sharpened, but you can remedy this by lowering the sharpness. But so far so good when it comes to the TAA generation, I like to call it. It's not super obvious. On a hair, you can see some breakup. I haven't checked with this model of DLSS. But I'm not seeing any specific ghosting. Also, now I'm using the Transformer model, so... I could use balanced, actually. Yeah, in motion it looks good. Just to show you what I'm talking about, because it's hard to see if you're on a phone. The hair does have some weird stuff. But again, I'm doing camera motion against black against white. And here usually it destroys hair, but this hair is not completely gone. You can see some breakup on the hair, but it's not as bad as in other games. And you can see some small ghosting on those leaves. But I'm zooming in a lot. Just to show you. Sorry about the screen tearing. I move the camera. It's pretty stable. So yeah. GG to Nvidia when it comes to preset K. Also water looking. The water looks pretty similar to the previous games. But you can add ray tracing to it. But it's pretty expensive on the GPU. I'll recommend 1080p for that. Okay. Let's swap to the 4060. Should be better with preset K. I'm not going to use anything different than that preset for DLSS. It's that good. And now with the 4060, we should actually have access to, instead of FSR FrameGen, also the NVIDIA FrameGen. So let's remove dynamic res. Let's let FrameGen do its thing. And you're probably, if you're playing like this, you probably want FrameGen. Well, maybe. I don't like it due to input lag. So DLSS quality, preset K, diffuse hideout. Let's put diffuse everywhere. Plus, oh man, what's the name? Anyway, I'm going to put all that because if you're doing, dude, I cannot even speak. I'm tired. Jesus Christ. Specular. If you do specular and diffuse, you have global illumination. So plus specular, and you have reflections as well. Since we're using frame generation, you might as well increase the graphics, right? I'm tired, boss. I'm good. I was into the water a second ago. Let me jump back in. No NVIDIA Reflex in FrameGen, but that's because it's FSR. NVIDIA Reflex is not in the game. It doesn't seem to be. But when you enable the NVIDIA FrameGen, that is 40 and 50 series exclusive, it forces the NVIDIA Reflex to be on boost. Let me double check the settings very quickly. Okay, we're good. And here we have FrameGen as well, I forgot to mention. There we go. And remember that we're at 1440p over here. And I can feel the input lag immediately. But if you want to use FrameGen and you think bigger number equals better, well, this should keep you happy. But I can seriously notice the input lag. Yeah, I put it in the description. Oof. I forgot to check the reflections. Hold up. Yeah, we do have reflections. Although here I'm not sure. Ah, there we go. Yep. reflections are there. They're mixed with screen space. So if you don't mind FrameGen, you can play it like this at 1440p. This has the global illumination, the reflections, but it has the input lag of FrameGen. And honestly, the preset K, which is a transformer model for DLSS, looks pretty damn good. I'm noticing more ghosting with FrameGen though. Which is better, FSR FrameGen or lossless scaling? It all depends on how the game implements it. So I'm not sure. Anyway. Let's change the settings. I keep it like this. We're keeping DLSS on native without FrameGen for the 4060, at least at the beginning. And when it comes to the presets, I'm going to be an idiot and put it on the highest, including ray tracing, just to test the 4060 quickly, and then we change the settings. Yeah, it's always windy in Japan. In The Witcher you can see that, but with the Northern Europe. Yeah, on the highest settings, at native 1080p, it just struggles. But it looks damn good. Yeah, and the draw distance is a little bit too much, I would say. But I don't think it's necessary to play on Ultra. Yeah, we're still on the 3060. Sorry guys, I needed to do some research. So I wanted to actually be sure that I was testing it correctly. The city would probably be a bit different, but we're a bit far away from it. Yeah, I think even low looks good. The thing is, having ray tracing on is a huge visual advantage, in my opinion. In this specific game. Finally 4060. You forgot to write FSR at the bottom of the screen while you were using FSR. Might mislead some people. That's okay. It says upscaling with FrameGen, FSR FrameGen, so shouldn't be an issue. And it's too much text. I made the mistake of clarifying too much in the past, and it was like a wall of text next to me, and nobody read it. So yeah, sometimes people will miss it. It's fine. Yeah, I am speed. Does 2666 MHz RAM bottleneck the 4060? No. It's faster than that though. Okay. As long as the CPU is good enough, shouldn't be a problem. Let's double, quadruple check that the NVIDIA app changed the DLSS option. So settings, come on, retrieve those settings. Really? There we go. Override model. Okay. Preset K, FrameGen, the latest one. Super resolution. It's funny, you can use DLAA from here. Why would you do that? Well, maybe the game doesn't have DLAA. That's pretty common actually. Anyway. So we're using preset K, which is the transformer model. It should work right away. Because it's changing the DLL. It's a DLSS unless you were blind. You were probably blind. I'm pretty sure. It says FSR and DLSS in the FrameGen option itself. And we're going with 1080p ultra high plus DLSS quality preset K. This is an ultra high, and FrameGen is disabled. Let's try that again. How's with the 4060? Good question. I forgot to change the text. Thank you guys for pointing that out. There it goes. But definitely do not play on ultra settings. That's my message, which again, in most games it's like that. But I wanted to make sure that it's still 30 FPS with the native resolution, and this is not quality DLSS, this would be DLAA. Yeah, I think high, even medium, I think is good enough on this one. Medium plus ray tracing on high, I think is the best of both worlds. And I'll restart my capture card just in case. And I should have G-Sync on. Oh, it's off. What the hell? That explains the screen sharing. Jesus Christ. How comparable is a 2080 Ti to a 4060? They're probably pretty close. Does the 2080 Ti have more VRAM? I forgot completely. It's compiling shaders, by the way. That's why the CPU is cooking. Yeah, probably the ray tracing performance is superior on the 4060. Is this just a benchmark, or do you have your hands on the game on Steam? I have my hands on the game on Ubisoft Connect. Ubisoft provided me a code a couple days early, so we can play it right now. At least I can play it right now. And I don't have it on Steam. But on Steam Deck you can install Ubisoft Connect, which is what I'm going to do right after this live stream. Also, I don't have audio for the game for some reason, but we'll fix that. Let me check the settings super quick. Yeah, here, FrameGen, you have DLSS and you have FSR. This DLSS FrameGen is for the 40 and 50 series cards. And then the rest is on the absolute highest settings. Well, at least it should be. And very quickly I'll check if I have the wrong audio device. I did. Freaking Nvidia. And let me enable G-Sync, otherwise you'll see lots of screen tearing. That's weird, it should be on. Sometimes it crashes the control panel when I enable it. Yeah, it crashed, what the hell. Yeah, G-Sync has been pretty hit or miss on this computer. We can hear now? Awesome. Let's disable it and re-enable it. Okay, that did something. Now we re-enable it. Sometimes it gets drunk. Isn't this an average NVIDIA drivers moment? Yeah, I mean, I enabled it, but it still says that it's not enabled. I don't know. I'll have to investigate. It's not the first time that it happens. Oh well, what can you do? Maybe it's my capture card just being weird. Okay, let's see how it goes. Okay, highest settings. Definitely runs a bit better than the 3060. Still drops below 30 on the highest, which is expected behavior, honestly. You missed the 3060. I've been playing with the 3060 for like 2 hours, so yeah. So this is what ultra high looks like. I think it looks pretty damn good. There's a lot more draw distance, grass, and the indirect lighting, you can definitely see it. And we have all the bells and whistles on native resolution. But what about lower resolution? DLSS quality. There it goes. So with DLSS quality, we're using the Transformer model. It looks okay. Performance obviously still not perfect. Ooh, hang on.
You're so soft.
Yeah, you can rewind the stream if you want to. I put that feature so you guys can go back and recheck if you want to see something. But as I said before, I don't think Ultra is worth the performance impact. You can tweak it pretty easily. What I would say makes more sense is a mix of medium and high, actually. So I think I'm going to do that right away, but this is what the highest settings looks like. Can you kill the cat? I don't think I can. I would never do that. So for this, I'm going to need to restart the game, unfortunately. So the high preset puts ray tracing on medium. We're going to push it to high. And what I'm going to lower, honestly, I think medium textures, let's put it on high. Particles, I recommend lowering this at least to medium. The rain, it's fine like this. Deformation, let's increase it. Scatter density to medium. Pixel textures, yeah, we should have enough VRAM for that. Hair strands, I'm not really sure if this one is a good idea. It still looks good without it. Yeah, let's just focus on performance. And clouds and fog is going to be disabled, or as low as it can go. But it needs to reload. Let's call this high-ish settings. And well, I think you can clearly notice the improvement, right? I'm not crazy. And I think this is with ray tracing on. Yeah, this is with all the ray tracing going on. The only thing that I lowered were particles, micropolygon, and some of the terrain, and the hair strands, and the clouds, and the fog. But as you can see, it's a huge performance improvement. So without ray tracing, it should be pretty easy to hit 60s. Yeah, sure. Since we're using ray tracing, let's enable FrameGen. We're using the latest version, so we should be okay. So thanks to having a 40 series card or 50 series card, you can choose DLSS instead of FSR for FrameGen. Those work independently. So we were at 61. Let's see it now. Takes a few seconds to apply. While it does, I'm going to change this. FrameGen on. And I'm not sure, guys, but every time I enable FrameGen from the NVIDIA version of FrameGen, the frame times look like that. I'm not sure if it's a bug with the overlay software, but it doesn't feel, it does feel smoother to the eyes. It's just there's input lag, although less input lag than the FSR version. So yeah, I'm not sure if the frame time does that Possible to call my mount. Why? Yeah, this game has forced ray tracing, but in the hideout. So if you're outside the hideout, which is like the quote-unquote hub area, you have ray tracing on at all times there. But outside the hideout, you can turn it off. In this case, I put that the game uses it across the board. So you have global illumination plus ray traced reflections. Now I'm trying to get through. There we go. There's some buildings. Come on, let's go. 1660 Super, I don't have one, I'm sorry. I spend a lot of time with just 3 cards. Imagine if I added more. It doesn't say 3060 anymore. I think you would rewinded that. It now says 4060. It's probably late to the stream. Yeah, for now, I was expecting way worse performance. Now that I tried it with more cards, some small tweaks fix it pretty quickly. Osaka. Where's AMD card? Huh, funny. People always ask me for AMD cards, but when I use them, nobody watches in comparison. So unfortunately, at the moment, that's not a choice. Also in my country, the latest AMD cards are not available still. It's a shame, really. Like 90% of my country uses Nvidia. I wanted to test DLSS, FSR4, but I don't have hardware for that. Yeah, I mean 10% market share, and I'm using the most popular Nvidia cards. That's the hilarious part. I mean, I'm pretty sure because I had AMD cards in the past when I was doing like 7 cards in one stream. It was pretty crazy actually. I do not recommend that. You go crazy. Too many cards. And the AMD cards didn't get as much attention. And not even close. And those were great value cards. What country? Uruguay. Can I climb this? Oh yeah.
Better to keep out of sight.
Come on, jump! At least they saw me. They're not stupid.
What?
I'll just climb my way out of here. Come to Brazil. I'm basically neighbors with Brazil. Brazil is right next to my country.
Wait. Your path.
Oh, that was not friendly. Not a friendly. Excuse me. Not passing through. Just want to get my fast travel. Don't worry. I just want to climb your castle. Don't mind me. Yeah, I'm going to turn ray tracing off. Don't worry. Let me turn FrameGen off, and then we're going to turn ray tracing off. I just don't want the game to reload. I want to first get this checkpoint. There we go. We're now in the city finally. GG. What CPU? It's all in the description. How many years do you think 4060 will last? I have no idea. As long as the PS5 is around, we should be good. That's my guess. Yeah, this looks good. Let's now disable FrameGen. And we're going to disable ray tracing as well. No FrameGen. Oops. Okay. As expected, into the 50s. I would say dynamic resolution is a must on this game. I said it before and I'm saying it again. But this does look good, in my opinion. Yeah, we're in the Animus. We're back in the Animus. I'm glad that they are going back to the Animus thing, because that high-tech stuff that they showed you in the previous games, I don't know, it just sells it to you better. I wish they kept that from previous games. Okay, now with dynamic res, let's see if it hits 60s. Come on. Just a few extra frames, that's all I'm asking. Well, wait, I'm using ray tracing. I'm an idiot. I forgot that I have ray tracing on. But I can definitely see that it's dropping the resolution quite significantly with dynamic res. Just look at the character when I move the camera. There's more artifacting. I can lower the sharpness actually, I forgot to do that. But it still looks pretty solid, all things considered. Let's disable ray tracing. Again, I think ray tracing in this game should be on at all times. It's too much of a difference. RT diffuse hideout. Yeah, I mean, I'm playing on a 27-inch screen and I'm zooming in. On a smaller screen, should be fine. Still, you don't like the idea of forcing ray tracing? Yeah, but what can we do? It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Let me see if everything is in order. Super quick. Hideout only. The rest is basically high. There we go. Yeah, DLSS is not amazing on 1080p, but I wouldn't say it's unusable, especially with the Transformer model that I'm using right now. Okay. Okay. Way better. Significantly better pixel count. And again, I'm zooming in a lot. Look at the character. GG.
Stick to the shadows. I don't want trouble.
I don't want trouble. Jumps out of a castle. Oh, okay. I can actually kill them without being the same level as them. That's a huge improvement. I thought I was like going to take up a piece of their health, but no, I took his entire life. Finally. That was a pain in the ass in previous games. So I can actually stealth my way through it actually. Good. See, that's a good improvement. So yeah, on the 4060 I would say these settings, even if you're using ray tracing, I think these settings make the most sense. I would stay with ray tracing for the excluding the water, only for the diffuse stuff. I think you can turn it on or off, instant assassination. I think they added that in the previous game as an option, but here the game didn't even ask me if I wanted to use that.
Help me, please.
So again, my advice for this particular card: use ray tracing outside the hideout, but only the fuse. Again, if you look behind me, you can see what I'm talking about. It makes a huge difference. I did a side-by-side comparison earlier, and it's not even close when it comes to quality. It's clear that the game was meant to be used with at least global illumination. Good thing you can turn off the reflections though. But in this case, it's super damn obvious that ray tracing is on or off. Without ray tracing, it looks washed out. It's horrible, honestly. Would you recommend 1080p high and then use integer scaling to 4K? Yeah, sure. That's not a bad idea. That works. The integer scaling actually would match perfectly to 4K. It's exactly 4 times less. Although you might see a bit of pixelation because it's still 1080p. It's not magic. Anyway, 1440p coming right up. Do you think 4060 good for GTA 6? Yeah, probably. If it runs on a PS5, it runs on this card. I'm going to put the FOV a little bit higher as well. What was I going to do? Oh yeah, no sharpness. Then on scalability, again, I would say diffuse everywhere makes more sense. All these other settings like this. Oops. And let's do 1440p now, but with balanced. Instead of quality, we're doing balanced. So 1440p high-ish. DLSS balanced. Preset K, dynamic res 60, RT diffuse hideout. Oh, this is not only hideout, my bad. For 1440p, definitely only hideout. Again, I don't like how it looks without ray tracing. It looks washed out. But at 1440p, it kind of makes sense. Okay. I could lower actually some stuff to medium. Get it closer. Like, what? Yeah, I mean, you can use higher difficulties. I would highly recommend you use the highest difficulty for this one, actually. Oops. It died for a second. Sorry about that, guys. I'm back. Apologies. It kicked me out for some reason. So as I was saying, at 1440p, you should be playing without ray tracing, in my opinion, unless you don't care about using performance DLSS with dynamic resolution. And probably some stuff on medium. Though now with the rain and all that, I think it's pushing it a bit harder. Oh, a Shiba Inu. The Doge. I found the Doge. So cute. I cannot see his face though. There you go. Wow, very Creed, very Shadow. Wow. Very, very good. I know, old meme. Can Doge swim? Probably not. He went this way and had to turn around. Yeah, the game was definitely made with RT in mind. Which sucks really, because it looks pretty good with the indirect lighting. I think they could have pulled it off like they did it with Unity. In Unity we don't have ray tracing, but the lighting is fantastic because they have like 4 times of day, and they specifically did the lighting for each of them. So on that one they really did a great job. Yeah, I'll probably go for medium for 1440p actually. Yeah, especially for this. This doesn't matter. This on medium should be good. Let's lower the draw distance a bit. Yeah, let's basically do medium. There we go. I call this medium. And let's see if it stays closer to 60. So inside the city it looks some VRAM usage is way higher. Yeah, definitely. Let's go back to the city now that we can. Good, that Gigabyte GPU is not dead yet. Yeah, on this one at least not. And I think they did a good job with the ray tracing. The thing is, when you turn it off, it's pretty obvious that you're playing with way worse graphics. Okay, yeah, definitely at 1440p I would play like this. The draw distance isn't as impressive.
This place is hostile. Best to go unnoticed.
Actually, with these settings, I would enable ray tracing just because the game looks so damn flat without it. It's ridiculous how bad it looks in comparison with ray tracing off. The art just doesn't fit. What a shame. I cannot really recommend it without ray tracing. It's very hard to look at it without ray tracing. I know it sounds like I'm being an elitist or something like that. I'm not. I'm usually anti-ray tracing. I usually tell you guys that it's a waste of time. In this game, the art is clearly made with ray tracing in mind. There is a lot of indirect lighting. I mean, just look at these crates. At the top of the crates, you can see the color from those flowers, from those trees. It's poured into the rest of the game objects. For me to notice that, it has to be obvious. Most of my streams, when I compare ray tracing, I say, okay, don't enable this, it's a stupid waste of time. If I need to do a side-by-side, that means that it's not impressive. And here I did a side-by-side to show you how good it looks with ray tracing. But there's probably a VRAM bottleneck in the city. So native on 3060, not over 57. No, on native you're not playing at 60. I think on this game you should use dynamic resolution, unfortunately, just because there's some sections that kill the performance, especially when particles show up or you're in the town. I think we should lower textures a bit more on the Gigabyte GPU. I think I have those textures on high, but if you look at the VRAM, we're very close to 8 gigs. At least in this part. That there's more characters and stuff like that. What I was expecting that didn't happen, luckily, is the CPU usage. I was expecting way higher CPU usage. So on that front, they did a great job. I remember Assassin's Creed Odyssey maxed out my CPU on the city like a lot. And it was DX11. And when it comes to this one, I think they did a good job with the CPU usage. Now, the 1050 Ti for this, 4 GB of VRAM is not enough for this game. So for 1440p, I would say do something like this. Let me find the texture streaming pool, lower it. And the virtual textures as well. So this is what I would do with this card at 1440p. I would use dynamic res targeting 60, maybe put it at 65 to have some room. Dynamic res enabled, balanced DLSS, so dynamic resolution will be pretty wild. But with the preset K, it looks pretty good, even without it. In this game, I think they did a good job with it. Diffuse everywhere. If you don't care about how it looks without ray tracing, which in this game is pretty noticeable, disable it, you get better image quality when it comes to resolution. Ray tracing, high I think looks good enough, and then a mix of medium and high for 1440p. With medium textures, because, you know, VRAM. Yeah, but on the 3060 I didn't get to the city at any point. And when it's filling the VRAM is when I get to places like these. I think I should restart the game though. So let's do that super quick. But in the meantime, I'm going to do a poll while this reloads. And the poll will be, would you use RT in this game? Yes? No. I mean, despite the performance impact, it's like 15 FPS less. It's not outrageous when it comes to the performance hit. Would you still use it? Because again, without it, I don't think it's worth... The visuals are not great without it. 4090 or Steam Deck? 4090. No, I'd rather have a Steam Deck. I just stack them together for more performance. I really like that the loading screen is the Animus.
Stick to the shadows. I don't want trouble.
Stick to the shadows. Which shadows? I wonder if I can use the rope from here if I jump off. No, I cannot. Oh, okay. I can fall from pretty high places. Yeah, she doesn't care. Shadows included in DLC package. What? Will the 6600 XT work with this game? Yeah, it probably will. Shouldn't be a problem. Although, don't play on the highest settings, please. Do yourself a favor. Yeah, you can download FPS as well. You can even have fake frames on PC.
Better not mess around. What? Hey, there's something there.
I love how they walk. That's hilarious. Oh, what happened? I'm playing on easy, by the way. Yeah, I think in this case you could use FrameGen. Personally, I don't like the input lag, but what can you do? You would download a car. Yeah! You wouldn't download a car. I would download more RAM. So cute. Look at that tiny bird. Yeah, the NPCs were blind there. Definitely. No, the textures are alright, but there's some low quality textures, especially in smaller objects. Maybe in photo mode I can show you what I want to show you. Give me one sec. I'm trying to find photo mode. I used it a couple times by accident, but... There we go. I mean, these things is what I noticed that have worse texture quality. And some of the ground as well. Let me remove those lines. Really, I cannot turn the grid off. Okay, fine. Show information. No. I mean, these are the textures that I found to be worse looking. There we go. Press Y to preview. I can hold Y and I can move the camera freely. Cool. But stuff like this is what I noticed worse texture quality, which makes sense. It's not that bad, but it's noticeable. If you look at the ground, but again, it's not a first-person game, so you're usually looking like at this height, maybe something like this. So usually the ground, it's okay. Again, we're playing at 1440p on a 4060 at the end of the day. I also like this. Whee! I can break things. That's so random. I don't know, I like doing dumb stuff in games as well. It doesn't need to be 100% realistic. I don't know why this amuses me so much. What about FrameGen on this card? Yeah, I showed you a moment ago. Let's enable it for 1440p. I think I showed it to you on 1080p. So good point. Let's enable it. DLSS FrameGen. So you need to give it a few seconds after enabling it, in this case. And the frame times will look weird, but I think it's just a bug with Riva Tuner. But the issue that I have with FrameGen is that you can feel the input lag. The base frame rate should be a bit higher. It's not unplayable like this. It feels okay. But if you play it without FrameGen and then go back to without FrameGen, you notice the difference in input lag right away. Again, not unplayable. I will play it like this, no problem. But if I have the option for less latency, I take it in a heartbeat. In this game, it's very, very obvious. At least... well, very, very obvious when it comes to the combat. If you want to use it, yeah, it's a possibility. It's not unplayable. It's just... there we go. Yeah, I can still fight with FrameGen. Maybe if you have a high refresh rate monitor. But I don't think it replaces targeting 60s. It just doesn't feel the same. It looks smooth, but it doesn't feel smooth. Come on, attack! No, not you, the other guy. Try again. DLSS FrameGen works better than FSR FrameGen. Depends on the game. In this game in particular, I did notice a bit less input lag, but that's about it. I'm also using the DLSS 4 version. I'm using the Transformer model. So you should use less VRAM. That's another important thing about the new FrameGen. But hey, Nvidia marketing tells you that this is how the card runs like. So in this game, the 5070 is faster than a 4090 because we have FrameGen.
Think you can beat me?
Yeah, the RTX 3070 will be fine. Just if you're playing at 1440p, make sure to not put textures on high, and you should be good. $4090 performance. Yeah, that's so cringe. Anyway, let's die so we get daytime again. And for 4K, I'm obviously not going to target 60s. But 4K I think will be interesting. For 4K we're using performance DLSS. There we go. And you can use ray tracing. Personally, I think it's not going to be a good idea, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm just going to target 35. Let's put 35 as a target, so we have some room to spare. So dynamic res 35 for 4K. The 3060 Ti will be a bit faster than this one, although I don't know how it handles ray tracing in comparison. So these are the 4K settings. Again, I'm including ray tracing because if we're targeting 30s, we might as well enable ray tracing, right? Okay. Okay, cool. Of course, this is mid-30s, but it looks super sharp. It's an insanely sharp game now in comparison. I'll let them kill me so I can... It's daytime again. On Steam it's March 20th. No, it's out only for reviews and previews. It releases on the 20th on Ubisoft Connect and on Steam. I got a couple days of early access. So thanks again to Ubisoft for providing a code. But officially the game releases in a couple days. There will be a day one patch, but they didn't specify anything regarding performance. There's a few bugs, but they didn't specify anything on performance for the day one patch. They did say there will be an Nvidia driver, but again, in 2 days, there shouldn't be a huge difference. Maybe there is less VRAM usage in the village, but that's as far as I can tell you. I don't know more. Where else can I go? Yeah, there's a lot of places. I'm happy though that the map looks smaller than Valhalla. And that's a good thing. Valhalla was a bloated mess, in my opinion. Let's mark this one. Actually, let me fast travel. Hopefully it becomes daytime by the time I get there. The Nvidia driver is already out. Okay, gotcha. But they released it as I was downloading the game, I guess. Oh. But again, I don't expect a huge difference. Maybe some profile for DLSS. But just to be consistent, let's try the very beginning of the game. And by the very beginning, I mean the first combat that has a lot of fire. I think that would be more interesting. Because I showed city, I showed basically everything at this point. Everything that makes sense to show. City, place with a lot of foliage, horseback, combat, non-combat, water, ray tracing, no ray tracing, dynamic resolution, non-dynamic resolution, FrameGen and no FrameGen. FrameGen is off, by the way, I screwed up there. So I think I tested most of the possibilities. Let me check what happens if I try to go to Valhalla. It's like a special mission or something. Oh, okay, it launches Assassin's Creed Valhalla. LMAO. So it actually launches the other game. That's funny. So they're doing it the Call of Duty way. The Call of Duty way, for if you guys didn't know, is to make one game the launcher and the other games separate executables. Canon mode, yeah, sure. Immersive mode. Let's see, let's play the game for real now. You open the game to open another game. Exactly, that's the Call of Duty way. By the way, before I continue, I'm going to unplug the internet from the computer that's running the game. Let's see if the game continues without internet.
Then there are the ones I have reconstructed. What I am about to show you.
It shouldn't require an internet connection, but who knows at this point. The Animus Hub. By the way, I cannot skip cutscenes at this part. But that's not the point. I'm just showing you now without internet to see if the game crashes or something. It shouldn't, but you never know. It wouldn't be the first time. Paua, I don't have a preference for any of them, honestly. Okay, skip ahead. This part actually is a piece of the city, so that's perfect. Yep. Basically what we saw on the open world. Look at the VRAM usage in this section. Jesus Christ. It's using all the VRAM. But it still looks pretty good. Yeah, Steam Deck verified. But I'm downloading it right now on Steam Deck. I'm attempting to download it actually. Give me a sec. Okay, it walks by itself. Give me a second. I'm logging into my Ubisoft account on my Steam Deck. Because for some reason I cannot open Ubisoft Connect on two computers at the same time without playing a game. So if I launch Ubisoft Connect on the Steam Deck, it kicks me out of the PC, of my PC, but I'm not running a game. So I disconnected the internet to be actually capable of downloading the game on the Steam Deck while I'm playing it on my PC. I know it sounds weird, but it makes sense. Trust me on that. We skip cutscene. Let me see if I can start downloading. So I played 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Yeah, no, the Ezio trilogy is the best. You cannot convince me otherwise. Okay, I'm downloading it on Steam Deck. So just to show you, there it is. I started downloading this game on Steam Deck. Should take maybe 20 minutes, but that's enough time to play the beginning of the game on PC. And take a small break, 15 minutes, and jump back into the stream. PS5 Pro is better than 4060? Yeah, probably. When it comes to game resolution, it probably is. But that's no surprise. It came out a moment ago. I'm hard for Santiago, guys. Well, guys, if you're enjoying my content and want to see more, consider subscribing and liking this video. It's really helpful, whether you believe it or not, for the YouTube recommendations. This actually makes me capable of seeing how to make the game work the best for most of you guys. So you skip the part of tweaking stuff and you do it by yourself. You just go into the options, copy the settings. It's not 100% perfect, obviously, but I try also to talk to you guys in real time. And this is all live for transparency purposes. You can see what I'm doing in real time, no BS. You can basically see everything that's happening and ask me about it. You can see which settings I touch, if I touch something in the computer. So I think that makes a lot of sense, just for transparency purposes. Thanks, Hugh. I appreciate that. Yeah, my internet is actually a gigabit. I'm using 700 megabits per second on the Steam Deck right now to download the game. So it should be done in 20-something minutes. Is it playable in the 2060? Yes, but lower those textures. Oops, photo mode, my bad. But again, we're using a mix of medium and high. With dynamic resolution, yes, but this part that was more demanding than the open world is actually doing pretty good. So just don't play on Ultra and you'll be fine. And this is with ray tracing. Yeah, we're using dynamic res, whatever, but still. The Transformer model really does make a difference. Yeah, here it's... when the fire is close, it suffers quite a bit. How to beat Owl in Sekiro? I'm not tech support for Sekiro, unfortunately. I haven't played enough Sekiro to tell you how to do it. But what I can recommend in Sekiro is to actually practice a few hours against the mannequins. That's what improved my gameplay the most. This game is also not even close to Sekiro's combat. It's way more forgiving, obviously. It's Assassin's Creed at the end of the day. What about 1440p and FrameGen? I already showed that, so right now I'm just playing the actual game from the beginning. Because I wanted some action, instead of just running around the open world. That's good for testing, but that's about it. Can I save here? No, I cannot. Ah, that would be awesome. So just being able to respawn here at will. Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm gonna be playing this game. Please don't play it on Ultra, do yourself a favor. And yeah, unfortunately, to work well, consistently well, I would say, you need dynamic resolution, which shouldn't be necessary, but this is one of the games where I would say ray tracing should be mandatory, unfortunately. Without ray tracing, it looks so flat. It's kind of a shame. I wish they, instead of making Unity, they made like Assassin's Creed Unity but Japanese. It would have been perfect timing. You kill a trainer guy with Mortal Blade, and now you can't practice. Oops! Then you're screwed. What about the 6700 XT? Shouldn't be an issue. Come on. Yeah, definitely, guys, play this game on hard. I'm playing now on normal. And let's just say it's not difficult on normal either. I can just spam buttons and block once or twice and I'm good. Yeah, man, I wish it was like Japanese Assassin's Creed, but in Unity. Unity the game, not the engine. What kind of performance should I expect from 6600 XT? Probably a little bit below what I'm showing you right now, I think. I don't know if this game runs better on Nvidia or on AMD. Sometimes, I think the Assassin's Creed games run better on AMD actually.
Do you understand? Fujibaya Shinawe. The structural integrity of her memories is solid. There is much for you and her
Anyway,
to discover.
while this loads and doesn't allow me to skip,
This will be the last time we
I'm going to redirect this stream to the Steam Deck stream. So we can play it on Steam Deck. It's in around 20 minutes. It's going to be downloaded. Hopefully it works well. It's verified, quote unquote, so we'll see what happens. If it's... yeah. They should do it. This is a cutscene. Also, cutscenes are locked to 30. Which is a shame. Shouldn't be like that. One sec. Okay, so as soon as this live stream ends, you guys are going to be redirected automatically to the Steam Deck live stream. So what are my thoughts? Well, my thoughts are, I don't know nothing about the story. I skipped everything because, you know, no spoilers in these videos. So far what I'm noticing is that the female assassin is more for stealth, and the samurai black dude is for heavy attacks, more of going guns blazing, to say it in some way. So yeah, that's what I noticed on the gameplay. Here seems more like stealth and parrying. Yeah, she's more fragile, I guess. And then when it comes to the performance, I was expecting worse performance, honestly. But at the same time, I think in this game you should have ray tracing on, at least when it comes to the diffuse ray tracing, that is the global illumination, because visually speaking is so much more superior with global illumination. I'm not joking. It feels completely flat when it comes to the image without ray tracing. This game is clearly meant around ray tracing. So disabling the reflection, the ray trace reflections, it's fine. I don't think you lose much. But the global illumination just makes a huge difference when it comes to how grounded the game looks. By a long shot. Another thing that I don't like is that in order to get decent performance, you need to use upscaling. This is another thing that bothers me about modern games, that they're made around thinking about upscaling and frame generation and ray tracing. So without upscaling, it's really hard to maintain consistent frame rates. Same goes with dynamic resolution. Maybe in this section of the game it runs worse because of the particles and all that, the fire. But once you get to the open world, you usually get higher frame rates, so to be consistent across the board, dynamic resolution is recommended. Without a doubt. And then the settings, don't use ultra, all the volumetric stuff, put it on low, and high settings I think is good enough. And when it comes to ray tracing, don't put it on anything below high, because otherwise it still looks pretty flat. And the cutscenes are locked to 30 FPS. So yeah. Then when it comes to the edges, I think it looks good with DLSS. FSR, I notice a little bit of chunkiness, a little bit over sharpened, I'd say. Well, when it comes to VRAM usage, in towns it went up to 8 gigabytes on the high preset. But I would say if you have 4 gigabytes of VRAM, it's a horrible idea to play this game. It will run like absolute garbage with 4 gigabytes. I'm not joking either. So yeah. Is immersive audio dialogue on? No, it's actually disabled. But in real life I'm probably going to be, when I play it by myself, I'm probably going to use Japanese voices. The thing is, some people ask me for Japanese voices, other people for the English voices, so I just keep it on English. But when it comes to whatever historical accuracy and stuff, I don't care personally about those things. I care that if the game is fun or not, and I would say when it comes to Assassin's Creed games, modern Assassin's Creed games, the combat feels way more fluid than in Valhalla and Odyssey, by a long shot. Animations still, I think they need more work. They feel a little bit stiff. It lacks momentum. Better than before, for sure, but it still lacks momentum. I think they can do better. Come on, you made Assassin's Creed Unity. Jesus Christ, man. And FrameGen works fine. I would say the base frame rate needs to be at least 45, but you can feel the input lag. But the FrameGen is okay. It works fine. It doesn't destroy the image like in Rise of the Ronin. It's actually playable with FrameGen. But you need a good base frame rate. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did showing it off to you, the game. Thanks again to Ubisoft for providing 2 days early access to the game. The game is releasing on Steam at the same time as Uplay, so in a couple days from now, March 20th. And there will be a day 1 patch that fixes bugs, and there is an NVIDIA driver, but don't expect a huge difference over this. Again, 2 days is not a huge difference. I work in software development, and trust me that they won't fix that in 2 days. Just don't play on Ultra. That's my advice. So yeah, in a few minutes you're going to see me playing on Steam Deck. It's verified on Steam Deck. We'll see what that means, because I don't trust the verification system. So yeah, I'll be here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see ya next time. Bye guys. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.